in the shimmering, moonlit gardens of the Jade Palace, a secret was kept known only to the reeds that whispered by the lotus pond. My name is Leanne, and I was just a humble palace maid, my days filled with endless chores and the distant, echoing laughter of the royal court. My only solace was the quiet moments I stole by that pond, a place forbidden to all but the emperor himself. It was there I met her, not a princess in silks and jade, but a fish. A fish with scales like liquid moonlight and eyes that held an ancient human sorrow. Every night, I would sneak away from the bustling kitchens, a small portion of my own meager meal hidden in my sleeve. I'd sit by the water's edge and talk to her. I named her You for the moon. I told her about my life, my dreams of seeing the world beyond the palace walls, and the loneliness that clung to me like a shadow. And You would listen, her fins gently stirring the water, her gaze fixed on me. It felt silly talking to a fish, but in her silent company, I found a friendship I had never known. One evening, as a storm gathered on the horizon, I noticed You was distressed. She thrashed in the water, her silver scales losing their luster. I reached in, my heart pounding, and as my fingers brushed against her, a voice echoed in my mind. Not through my ears, but directly in my thoughts. "Help me," it pleaded, a voice as clear and sorrowful as a temple bell. I gasped, pulling my hand back. It was You. The fish, my friend, had spoken to me. The voice, belonging to the true princess, told me her story. She was Princess You, the emperor's only daughter, cursed by a jealous sorcerer to live as a fish. She could only regain her human form for a single hour at midnight on the night of the Ghost Festival, and only if she received a tear of true friendship. The Ghost Festival was just 3 nights away. The sorcerer had ensured no one would ever befriend a mere fish, but he hadn't counted on a lonely palace maid with a kind heart. The curse, she explained, was bound to an enchanted pearl hidden within the sorcerer's own chambers in the darkest wing of the palace. To break it, the pearl had to be destroyed in the sacred waters of the pond. My blood ran cold. The sorcerer, a man named Wei, was the emperor's most trusted advisor. His quarters were heavily guarded, a place of shadows and ill repute. To be caught there meant a fate worse than death. But looking at You, at the desperate hope in her intelligent eyes, I knew I had no choice. I had found my first true friend, and I would not abandon her. I made a promise, both to her and to myself. I would face the shadows for her. The next day, I began my plan. My lowly status, once a source of shame, now became my greatest advantage. No one noticed a simple maid. I watched the guards' patrol routes, memorized the changing of the shifts, and learned the layout of the forbidden wing from scraps of conversation I overheard among the palace staff. I learned that Wei always spent an hour before dusk meditating in the highest pagoda, leaving his chambers empty but not unguarded. My window of opportunity was terrifyingly small. On the second night, armed with this knowledge and a stolen master key, I crept towards the sorcerer's wing. The air grew colder with every step, the ornate lanterns casting long, dancing shadows that looked like grasping claws. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drum in the oppressive silence. The key slid into the heavy, carved door with a soft click that sounded like a thunderclap to my terrified ears. I slipped inside. The room was filled with strange artifacts, bubbling potions, and scrolls covered in cryptic symbols. A sickly sweet smell hung in the air, a mixture of dried herbs and something metallic. I searched frantically, my hands trembling. Where would he hide something so precious? My eyes scanned the room and landed on a black lacquer box, intricately inlaid with mother-of-pearl sitting on a pedestal. It pulsed with a faint, malevolent light. That had to be it. As my fingers touched the box, a wave of dizziness washed over me. Whispers slithered into my mind, promises of power, of wealth, of everything I ever wanted. The sorcerer had protected the pearl not just with guards, but with a powerful illusion. It showed me visions of myself in fine silks, respected and admired, no longer an invisible servant. For a moment, I faltered. But then I thought of you, of her sad eyes, and the quiet friendship we shared that was real. This was a lie. With a cry, I wrenched the box open. Inside, resting on a bed of black velvet, was a single, flawless pearl. But it was not the pure white of a normal pearl. This one swirled with dark, inky shadows, cold to the touch. I snatched it and ran. I didn't look back, not even when I heard an enraged shout from the direction of the pagoda. Wei knew he was coming. I fled through the labyrinthine corridors of the palace, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The shouts of the guards echoed behind me, growing closer. I burst out into the gardens, the cool night air hitting my face. The pond was just ahead, shimmering under the rising moon. "You," I screamed, my voice raw with panic. I reached the water's edge just as the guards, led by the furious sorcerer, spilled into the garden. "Seize the thief." Wei roared, his face contorted with rage. I didn't hesitate. With all my might, I threw the cursed pearl into the center of the lotus pond. The moment it hit the water, the pond erupted. A column of brilliant white light shot towards the heavens, temporarily blinding everyone. The dark magic within the pearl sizzled and dissolved, and the water of the pond glowed with a pure, sacred energy. From the center of that light, a figure began to rise. The water cascaded away to reveal a young woman, her beauty as radiant as the moon itself. It was you, the princess, returned to her true form. The emperor, alerted by the commotion, arrived to see his long-lost daughter standing before him. The guards, the sorcerer, everyone was stunned into silence. You pointed a trembling finger at Wei. "That man," she declared, her voice ringing with authority, "cursed me. And this girl," she turned to me, her eyes filled with tears of gratitude. "This brave, kind girl is the one who saved me." The sorcerer's lies unraveled in an instant. Faced with the living proof of his treachery, he was seized by the guards. My life was transformed overnight. The emperor, overjoyed at his daughter's return, hailed me as a hero. I was no longer Lian, the invisible palace maid. I was given a new name, a title, and a place of honor in the court. But more important than any title or reward was the friendship that started it all. Princess, you and I remained inseparable. We explored the world together, just as I had dreamed of by the pond. We proved that true friendship isn't about status or power, and that even the quietest person can find the courage to change the world for someone they love. Our story became a legend, a reminder whispered through the halls of the Jade Palace for generations to come. A tale of a girl, a fish, and a bond that was strong enough to break a curse. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from around the world.